Hello and welcome. Today what we're going to talk about is using a voucher clearing account to allow us to retain our job costs for an invoice that we've entered that was previously paid by the customer. In this scenario or example, what we're going to assume is that there were some goods delivered to the job site and they were delivered COD. And none of the crew was there to receive it, so the customer was approached with this COD, and knowing that the goods were for the project, the customer was good enough to pay the COD fee. So the customer comes to us, gives us proof that it was paid, and now we want to give the customer a credit on account. So first we're going to take a look at the payable invoice that we've got entered and verify that in fact, yes, this was a valid cost. We've got it job costed through our accounts payable invoice. Okay, so what we need to do is give the customer a credit on account for the $12,618.35 and keep our job costs intact. So I'm going to go ahead and close my accounts payable invoice, go over to my receivables, and we're going to create, and I'm going to call it a credit or CR invoice for job 186. And this is prepaid by customer, and it's job 186. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in a date so I don't get my mismatch, because we are in period 6 in this data set. So when I get down into the grid area, I'm going to go ahead and go with my description default. And again, this is a credit on account, so it has to be a -1. And the price here is $12,618.35. And I'm going to say it's non-taxable. And in the account field, what we're going to do is we're going to apply this to our voucher clearing account. So if you don't have a voucher clearing account set up, you can set one up on the fly. We already have one, so if I go to my lookup window and I look at my voucher clearing account, my ending balance is 0, which is what I want it to be. And I'm going to go ahead and select the voucher clearing account. And then we'll take a look and see that we've got some retention here, and we'll address that after we save it. So I'm going to go ahead and save my invoice, then I will recall it, and I'll remove the retention and save it again. So the customer now has a credit on account for $12,000 plus. So we've accounted for that. We can apply that credit to any open balance invoice that the customer has. So now what I need to do is I need to relieve the accounts payable invoice, because we don't want to pay the vendor twice. Remember, this vendor has already been paid by the customer. So I'm going to pay vendors, and this particular invoice has already been set to pay. So I'm going to select my Payne Electric, and in the Pay By field, I'm going to pay by voucher. And I'm going to go ahead and pay vendors. So we're in the vendor payment. I'm going to go ahead and print my payment and select my voucher clearing account. We need a check number, and it's defaulting to the last check number or voucher number +1. And I'm going to go ahead and enter the date. And we have the option to update the 1099 balance. So in this case, if we're going to be sending a 1099 to Payne Electric, then we can include that amount since we've given the customer credit for that. And I'm going to go ahead and print vouchers. Now, these vouchers can be printed to your printer. They can also be printed to a PDF file. And so you can get that history in your PDF file. You can hear my printer running in the background. Once it's cleared, I'm going to go ahead and post all vouchers. Just like with check printing, if you're printing more than one voucher, you can print through a good voucher number if perhaps you had a print jam. Or you can decline and not post any vouchers. But I'm going to go ahead and continue. And so my voucher posting is complete. So what have we just done? I'm going to cancel out of this. I'm going to go back into my accounts payable invoice, and I'm going to pull up my last invoice, and my invoice is paid. It's in a paid status. Now, we did not print a check to Payne Electric, but we cleared the invoice. Keep in mind that our costs are still in job costs. All of this $12,000 still in job costs. And if we go over to the transaction, the journal transactions, and we pull up the last transaction, you can see that voucher. What it did is it relieved the accounts payable, and it credited the voucher clearing account. And if I go back one record, we can see that when we created the AR credit, what it did is it debited the voucher clearing account. So now the voucher clearing account should be 0. So let's take a look. And it is 0. So we have relieved the AP invoice, applied a credit, or given the customer a credit on account, and that account credit can be applied to any open balance invoice. So if you didn't know how to use a voucher clearing account, you should now know. I thank you for your attention, and we'll see you next month.